This is Sports Charlotte, the podcast about sports in Charlotte. My name is Cameron Williams, the staff reporter, de facto sports do-it-all, and that is Herb White, the editor-in-chief, the Mr. Do-It-All of the Charlotte Post. And we're here on this is our third episode of the day. We have been going ham. And we're here to talk a little bit of everything Charlotte 49ers, what they've got going on right now. Mainly hoops. We can start there. As football season's winding down, we'll talk about that in a little bit. But there is hoops in full force. They're fully cranked up, playing games. Men's. 2 wins, 2 losses. What have you liked based on what you've seen? And what do you think could improve or be improved on? They started off 2-0. Dropped their last 2 to Davidson and Virginia Tech. Most people kind of saw the Virginia Tech one coming, although I will say it was more competitive than I would have imagined going into that game. They did lose 84-76, but had chances down the stretch to pull within 2, tie the game, and then the final margin was really dictated based off having a foul and force them to the free throw line and that kind of thing. But what's your impression of this men's team so far through 4 games?
Well, I guess the first thing is you want to be consistent. And the first couple of games, 49ers were consistently getting up and down the floor, dictating terms, not so much in recent outings. I think I like dictating terms a lot better in terms of being able to get up and down the floor, get some easy baskets, easier looks at the basket. If you're Charlotte, I'm not so sure if I trust a half-court game as much. It's a lot better when you're ahead of the defense, getting layups, dunks, or whatever, rather than having to settle in and do it the old-fashioned way and just slug it out. And I think that this group has the potential to do that, but they need to be able to figure out a rhythm and get to it earlier rather than later when you're scrambling to try to catch up, because that's what happens in games like Virginia Tech and Davidson. You fall behind, now you're in scramble mode trying to scratch and claw your way back into contention. And that's not a good spot to be in.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll say this about the Davidson game. If you look at their scores, even in the loss to Virginia Tech, Charlotte still scored 76 points. So in 3 games, they've scored 70 or more. And the one game against Davidson only scored 55. Big time outlier game, at least in my opinion. Scored 92 in the opener against Indiana State. So they've proven to me that they are capable of putting up, I guess, what would be considered average winning totals. But if you're going to give up 84, you've also got to score more than 84. And I mean, again, a lot of it came late, free throws, but I thought it was a good sign that Charlotte was competitive against Virginia Tech. And it was at Virginia Tech, so I did think that was a good sign. Now, got a rivalry game tomorrow against App State. App State's 3-2. They are 2-0 at home, but losses to Ohio State, big, and Central Michigan also pretty large margin. Their 3 wins are against Carolina Carolina University Bruins.
Okay, that's new.
But then also Dartmouth and NC Central. So a few quality wins. Their loss, I mean, NC Central, they're constantly making the tournament as a play-in 16 seed. Yeah. So, I'll give them their props. But I would be interested to see. I don't know if the spread's out for this game or not, but I don't see it. But I will say this. Based on the analytics, they're saying App State's 67% favorites.
Really?
I'd have it a lot closer than that.
And that game is in Boone, huh?
It is in Boone.
I'm not much of a betting person.
No, we know.
But I would take Charlotte going away on this one.
Wow.
It-
Whoa. Really?
yeah, really.
What makes you say so?
Well, because the quality of opposition at this point, and Charlotte has shown signs of life. I don't necessarily know how well App State would be able to defend if Charlotte is getting out and doing what they have shown at least some glimpses of
Mm.
so far. And I would take Charlotte with this one all the way.
Fair enough. Fair enough. That'll be their last away game for their home against CIAA Shaw. But
if you really want to play a CIAA team, don't play Shaw. Play the one on Beatties Ford Road. I'm just throwing that out there, Charlotte. I mean, if
the
if
alum
name
talking here.
If the name of the game is to draw a crowd, you know who to call.
Okay. Yeah. The alum talking here.
No, that's just the truth. I mean, it's right here in Charlotte. You don't have to call a school from Raleigh unless you call it NC State.
Ooh, that might be ugly too. But anyway, on the women's side of things, they've played a handful more games so far, but same record as far as around 500. They are 3-3. The Charlotte 49ers women's team opened up with the loss to Auburn. We've kind of talked about that a little bit, but then 2 straight wins. One was surprising to me. Central Florida, they got that win on the road, but then losses as predicted against LSU in California, but then bounced back in the I guess the consolation game of that little mini tournament they played out there, and they beat Oakland 66-41. They will have a home game Saturday against the Wofford Terriers before facing Oklahoma State, George Washington, and Mississippi State. Where do you think the women's team's at right now in relation to the men's team? Are they around the same spot? Personally, I think they're both still trying to kind of figure things out. However, the talent discrepancy in women's college basketball right now is just so it is so much larger than the men's game. I mean, you see number 5 LSU, and yes, your 5th ranked team in the country is going to be your 5th ranked team, but
they are good.
I mean, the 5th ranked team in men's college basketball right now is Duke, and I personally wouldn't see them beating Charlotte by 60 points. I mean,
60?
117-59, so 58 or 68? No, 58. Nonetheless, holy smokes,
that's a bunch. I don't necessarily see Duke beating Charlotte men by 60 points.
That's my point. The talent discrepancy or the gap between your top programs in women's versus mid-major programs is so much more vast than the men's game. Because no, I don't think Duke would beat Charlotte by 60 points. I don't think there's a lot of mid-majors that Purdue's, Houston's, Arizona's, Duke's, North Carolina. I don't think a lot of them would beat them by 30, 40 points. I just think
now 20, okay.
Yeah, the 20 margin, yeah. But again, it's so glaring in women's college basketball. But I think Charlotte women are at a good place right now. I just think they're challenging themselves in the non-conference.
They sure are. They are ambitious.
So come conference play, I don't think there's anybody they're going to fear.
Agreed. And I think that the 49ers are actually, in terms of women's basketball, they might be a little bit more talented than people are giving them credit for.
They got some talent for sure.
And I look at it from the standpoint of Coach Tamika Reed is she's put together a roster and a schedule that will it's going to be win-win. It's going to either show you what you're missing or it's going to show you what you have. And I think that the get to 3-3 at least gives them an idea that they can hang with mid-majors at the very least. And perhaps with some fine-tuning, this is where coaching comes in. They might be able to really do some things in their own neighborhood once they've finished with the non-conference schedule.
I think defensively, you're seeing a team this year much more along the lines of what Coach Reed was hoping for last year. Um, for those that don't or haven't followed her coaching career at Jackson State, she plays some rugged defense, and this team is averaging 8.8 steals per game. That's much more along the lines of what she had been accustomed to. As far as passing the ball, I think she would be a bit more happy if the team would get more assists per game. I think sometimes the ball gets a little stagnant and there's not as much ball movement as she would like. But as far as defensively, averaging 4 blocks roughly as a team, and they don't have a ton of tall players. They've got a couple, ladies in the paint that can alter shots and stuff, but I just don't think they've got like that dog type of shot blocker that quite frankly, in the women's college game, there's not that many of them, period. But
and they're not playing at mid majors. Chances are
that's also a good point. But they turn the ball over a little bit much. I'm sure Coach Reed, as the season progresses, wants to see the assist numbers and the turnovers equal out. Right now, it's 11.7 assists to 18.3 turnovers per game. Not a winning recipe for sure, but they have managed 3-3 doing this, and we'll see where it goes from here.
Yeah, one of the things too, when you talk about assists to turnovers, in that ratio, you want your players to share.
Mm-hmm.
And when you share more, chances are you're going to lower that turnover margin as well, because you're not getting caught in traps as much.
Mm-hmm.
You're not getting beat up by defenders as much. And so you keep that ball moving, chances are you're going to find somebody with an open shot, whether it's a mid-range or preferably a layup if you can get it. And so that is again, where the coaching comes in. You want your folks to understand sharing is caring. When you share the ball, chances are you avoid those mistakes that ultimately derail teams.
Agreed. I think right now, men's and women's, they are finding their foothold in really just figuring themselves out. And that's what the non-conference is supposed to be for.
Mm-hmm.
Really for all teams, not just your mid-majors, not even just your top 10 teams in the country. Everybody's figuring it out right now. Yes, a lot of people are cynical and they say, well, that's what summer's supposed to be for. Yes, but you only know how good you are when you play other teams.
Yep.
And all teams across the country, including Charlotte's men's and women's, are figuring that out. And quite frankly, I like what I saw in the men's game against Virginia Tech. That was a good measuring stick as to where they could get to. And the women's team, they're battling with teams that were supposed to beat them handily. They won the game against Central Florida. They've got Oklahoma State coming up in a few games. We'll see what that brings. But overall, I think they're in decent spots through 6 and 4 games, respectively, women's and men's.
Bottom line, who do you think has the better season?
Oh, gosh. Well, equal right now.
Who will have the better season when the dust settles? Or, better yet, would either be plus 500 or neither? I'll make it easier on you. You don't even have to say who'll have the better season.
I think both teams could be above 500 for the whole season. I really do. The women, I think, maybe have the tougher chance of getting there just because they've got, I hate saying built-in losses, but some of these teams that they're playing and challenging themselves with are very tough opponents. LSU, that was a built-in loss.
Mm-hmm.
As confident as a coach as Tamika Reed is, I don't think a single one of her staff members went into there thinking they were going to beat LSU in Baton Rouge.
You're going to have to play a perfect game to do that.
And so you have some of those, quote, built-in losses, as much as I hate that phrase, but it is just reality. I think both teams could be over 500. I think oh golly, because I'm gonna get a text from either Fern or Tamika if I say one or the other. I'll leave it at this. I think both teams have a chance to finish top 5 in their conference.
Okay,
I really do, and who knows if either of them make a little noise in their conference tournament? we'll see how that all shakes out. But unfortunately, right now, the way it looks is that the American Conference winner is probably going to be the only team from the conference to get into the NCAA tournament, men's or women's.
Well, so that's why basketball seasons are basically sliced into threes.
Yeah.
There's non-conference, there's the conference, and then there's postseason.
Yeah.
That's the last chance part of the season.
That is true. But as we wrap up the 49ers pod, let's glaze over football because it is still going on.
It is? Okay.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
I'm just saying.
2 ranked teams left on the schedule.
Oh, my.
Number 4, Georgia.
Oh, heavens.
And number 24, Tulane.
Eek.
What's to say Charlotte can't win these 2 games?
What's to say? I'll say it. No. I mean, and it's not being a hater or anything. It's just, think about it. Charlotte hasn't beaten an FBS program all season. Now, what makes you think they're going to be a pair that are in the top 25?
Rub the salt in a little deeper, Herb.
No, I mean, truth is truth.
Truth hurts. It does. Truth hurts so bad that the money line is off for this game against Georgia. Spread's 43.5.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you taking?
Oh.
On the spread, because you can't just take the winner because you'd have millionaires that have bukus of money throwing $5 million on Georgia just to win $100,000.
Well, that would be seat cushion money to them.
Yeah, that's my point. But that's why it's off, because there would be crazy people that would do that.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you taking on the spread? 43.5. Does Charlotte cover 6 touchdown and extra points?
I'm going to say yes.
All right.
I'm going to. Okay, 43.5, you say?
43.5.
Yep.
All right.
I will say either the 49ers will find a way to play much better than they've showed, or Georgia will pump the brakes. But then again, maybe Georgia can't afford to, because when you start thinking about the college football playoff and how teams get slotted in and all the other stuff, you don't want to be Georgia and say, well, we beat Charlotte by 30, and then have the selection folks say, that's all?
Well, being number 4, Georgia's comfortably in. But here's the thing and I want to look at the standings, because if my mind serves me correctly, with Bama having beat Georgia and them being their only conference loss, and Alabama's only conference loss now being to Oklahoma, I could be mistaken, but I think Alabama would still have the tiebreaker over Georgia to get into the SEC title game with the Texas A&M Aggies. So while this game doesn't have implications on the SEC standings,
if you're not top 4,
I don't know if Georgia's really wanting to. Well, they'll be top 4 because Georgia, they play Charlotte, and I don't know who they end the season. Oh, Georgia Tech. Yeah. So we'll see. Will they lose to Charlotte? No. But I don't even know if this game the committee's even going to really look at, because they know that if they're up 35 to 40 at halftime, they're not going to be playing their starters in the second half to avoid any risk of injury. So I think Georgia's safe either way. I mean, now if they lose, they're out.
Oh yeah, that would be massive, and Charlotte could have a
2-win season, but they can hang their hat on that for a while.
Yeah, I mean, the next 50 years will be like, I was around when they beat Georgia in Athens.
That's what I would be doing. You bet your bottom dollar on that. But we're always here to give you a laugh, and we're always here to give you information. So while you're listening to the podcast, go online to thecharlottepost.com and go up to the top right corner. Do us a favor and click donate or subscribe. Donate if you feel like being generous, but definitely subscribe so you can get all the content at your fingertips, whether that be the e-edition on your phone or laptop or the print edition every week. I'm sure you enjoy our content, but it is not free to produce. It is free for y'all to consume online, but again, not free to produce, and we could use your help. Help us help you. That's my coined catchphrase. And in doing so, we will continue to provide tip-top coverage of all things sports here in Charlotte that you enjoy, as well as other things like news. Ice is in Charlotte. News breaks all the time, and we cover it, as well as life, arts and entertainment, health, all the good stuff. So do that for everyone here at the office in beautiful Derita. That is Herb White, the EIC. I'm Cam, the staff reporter. Thanks for watching and listening, and have a great weekend.